Alright, so I want to give you a quick tutorial on taking attendance. Attendance is the main thing that we do here at Attendance Now, so I kind of wanted to give you a peek under the hood of how our data is laid out and how our attendance is taken. So I'm going to go here right now, and I'm going to click on the attendance module, and I'm literally going to go and take attendance for a specific service. And I'm going to take attendance and show you how quick and easy it is. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to explain how things work. So let me just do it. I'm just going to go through. I'm going to click some people. I'm going to make some data. Actually, I'm not going to take these guys, but I'm going to show you those options that are available. I'm going to check some guests. I'm going to search for some guests. I'm going to clear the search. I'm going to add another guest. And I'm going to come up here. I'm going to add 4 additional people. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to click Easter. And I'm going to take attendance for Sunday morning, 11/25/2018. And none of the data is saved until I submit, so I'm going to submit. And there we go, our data was saved. Now let me just go through what I just did there. We checked people in, we checked some data in, and we checked some attendees, we checked some members, we checked some guests. I came up here, I added additional people, I added a service description for the service tag, and click submit for Sunday morning 11/25/2018, and I took attendance. So now let's just go over what this is. We have 3 types of people. Here's your members. These are categorized by family name, and you'll see right here that we have the Anderson family, the Johnson family, the King family, and the Thompson family. Now right here, obviously it's the visual. Nobody under here was checked, and so you have an X here showing that nobody for the Thompson family is there. For the Larry King family, you'll see that this indicator lets me know that some people underneath the King family were selected, and not all of them were selected, just some of them. And then if there's none, there's an X. If there's some, there's that orange indicator with the minus next to it. And then there's the checkbox if everybody's selected. So basically, I can see from a bird's eye view of who's checked underneath this family, who's not. And the reason for that is that we want it to be super simple to take attendance. I'm going to uncheck all these people right now. We want it to be super easy to take attendance. If I know that the whole Anderson family is going, I can just click this red X and make it green. If I know that all the Johnson family was there, I can check it green. If I know that all the Larry King family is there, I can just check it and it's good. The only time I actually need to click into the family is if only a partial family was there. I need to just literally check in and say Ashley and James were the only 2 people there. And then here's my indicator. I can see from a high level of who's there underneath the family and who I've already checked and who I still need to check if I need to look for somebody or not. And then here's attendees. These are people. They're not necessarily, they are technically guests, but they're not necessarily a first time, second time, third time guest. These are people maybe on the verge of becoming a member. They come fairly regularly, maybe every other Sunday, not necessarily members, but you want them to show up in this attendees block so you don't have to search for them in the guests. But so they're more basically frequent guests that come is where these attendees, which fall into the attendees bucket. And then we have the guests, and you see that you can add new guests. You can put in as many people as you want and add them, and then once you add them, they become down here Kim and Larry Johnson. You see we added them before, and now they're down here as checkbox because we submitted their data, and now they show up in your guest list. And then you can also search for a person. When you search for them, it'll bring up just your search criteria. When you clear, it'll bring up all your guests again. So sometimes you have 20, 30 guests in the system and you can't find exactly what you want. Just search for them and then you can check them off and then you're good to go. Once we're done with the guests and we have everything that we want to do here, I'm going to go up here to this additional people. Now this is interesting. This is if you don't, let's just say there's 3 or 6 guests here in this scenario that you don't want to actually get their information. You don't plan on getting their information. Maybe you know who they are and you don't really care if you get their name and address information in the system, and you just want to put a number here. We have a client that doesn't even actually take guest attendance. They just put a number in for all their guests. So they'll put in like 8 for their guests, and that's where they'll report on of how many guests have come to their church. And so when you put in additional people here, it'll actually add to the total here. And so some people, instead of using these guests and using names here for guests, they just literally put a number up there and they call it a day for how tracking guests. Because some people that, if you don't want to get their names, you don't want to get the contact information, you just want to put a number, then you can track a number of guests right there. And then this service tag allows you to actually tag a service. It's an optional, along with the additional people, it's an optional field. But if you wanted to, let's just say, hey, this is the Easter service, this is a Christmas service, it's not a normal service, you can actually tag it so in the system, in your reports, you can see that this was a special service or a different service than normal. Or you can leave it blank and nothing will happen. And then these guys right here, if we had a lot of people, and let's just say the Kings were way down the list, like you had to scroll super far down to get the Kings, say you had 50 families. If you click this K, it'll bring you to the first K. Since we're on the same screen, it does nothing, and we see them here. But if this K, if the Kings are way down there, it'll scroll down to the Kings, the beginning of the Ks, and allow you to then see the King family and take attendance for the Kings. And then down here we have services. In this drop list will be all the services that you've created. So in our managed service tutorial, we created some services, and these will be all your services. So you can take attendance for Sunday morning, Wednesday, Sunday evening. Those are the 3 services we have. If I am to click this, you'll see that the attendance for Wednesday, 11/25/2018 is blank. There's no data here. And so I can take attendance on 11/25 for a Wednesday service, I can take it for a Sunday evening service, or I can take it for the Sunday morning service. Now, we're on 11/25. Obviously, it's not a Wednesday, but you could technically take a Wednesday attendance on Sunday. We try to be smart about it. If it's Sunday morning, and if it's 11/25 and it's a Sunday morning and it's on Sunday morning, we try to auto-populate this to be the Sunday morning service. If it's the Sunday night service, and it's Sunday evening, we will auto-populate this drop list to be Sunday evening. If it was Wednesday, it'll auto-populate. And then if you had a Saturday prayer and you pull up your app on Saturday, it will be the Saturday prayer in your service. So you pick your service, you pick your date. You can go back and you can take attendance for a previous date. Let's say you forgot and you want to go and take attendance for the 18th, or you want to go back, and in our case it's the 26th today, and we want to go back one day and modify the attendance for the previous day. You can do that as well. So you pick your date. If you've already had attendance records for that date, it'll show it. If you don't, there'll be nothing. Let's just, we'll go back to the 18th. There's no data here, so it'll be blank, and you can just start taking attendance. And so you pick a service type, you pick a date, and once you're done, you click submit. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm just going to modify this and check the Thompsons here. 16 people now, click submit. And then, bam, I'm at 16, they're checked, and everything is good to go now. So literally, that is taking attendance. I want to show you this cool, quick feature up here. If you're ever just looking for a certain person and you want to just say, hey, I know exactly who I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody in the King family. Click up here. It'll show you everybody in the King family. And just watch this guy right here. I show everybody here. I click Nina and boom, I actually checked everybody there. I can uncheck people here from the left side as well. And then I can check them back as I needed. So if you're ever just searching for one person, you can just literally search up here for that person. It doesn't matter if they're a member, an attendee, or a guest. It'll actually check them there, and it'll do that. I think Ann was a guest. Yes, Ann Meeks is a guest. Ann Thompson is a member. So if you uncheck Ann Meeks, you come over here. Ann Meeks is unchecked now. She was checked before, but we just unchecked her from the search bar. So this is a really cool feature. If you're just coming in attendance, you want to search for one person, and you want to search for a specific person, take them there. Let's just say they walk in the door, and there's one person that walks in the door, and you know who this person is, and you just search for them, and then you check them, and you click submit and you're done. So that's the search feature. So let me just go over this a little bit one last time as we close out this tutorial. These are your family members. These are your family member search. This means that everybody underneath the family is there. This means that partial family is there. And this means that nobody underneath that family is there. You have your attendees block, which is just a checkbox. You have your guest box where you can add new guests here. You can search for guests here. You can check your recent guests in here. Up here is additional people. If you don't use your guests, or you have a couple people that you don't want to actually get contact information for, you can use this additional people, and that you can track that as well. Here's your service description. These things auto scroll to the family name they belong to. Here's your services under here. Here's the date that you're taking attendance for, and then don't forget to submit. If you check people and you don't click submit, it will not get saved. Let's just say you exit out and you come back. It's the previous data there. So you got to click submit to make sure your data gets saved. And then of course your search. If you want to search for a person in the app, then you click up there and it'll bring you to a search box, and you can search for anybody you want and take attendance right from the left-hand menu. So literally, it's supposed to be quick, it's supposed to be easy, and this is attendance in a nutshell. Thank you for watching this tutorial.